everyone, it's Sammy from Sammy's Sweet Life, and today is going to be my week number 33 pregnancy update. So yesterday I had my We're Building a House update video. It is a really long video, but it covers pretty much everything I could possibly say about the house building process, the house hunting process, and all of the builder related things. I talk about the house in more detail in that video, so if you're interested in the house side of things, that's a great video to just get you caught up to speed. And if you are new to home building, it might have some tips and tricks for you as well. I tried to include some builder red flags and also some design tips for you guys. So be sure to check that out if you want. I'll leave it linked down below. I'm going to be talking about all things baby today. I don't really have a whole lot of newness. I am still struggling with that little cough cold, and it's just now a lingering cough. I don't have a whole lot of symptoms aside from just being really tired. I'm coughing a lot. I sound a little bit nasally and congested, and it's just mucus at this point. It's just I'm coughing up mucus. I am blowing my nose constantly. I just cannot believe how much mucus that there is. It's just shocking to me how much mucus that a pregnant lady can make. That's one of the things in pregnancy, that your cervical mucus will increase, your regular mucus can increase, your nasal passages get congested, so it's even harder to breathe. This is me going on having this cold for 2 weeks after having strep. So it's like strep, and then 2 weeks of this. It's been about 3 weeks total, and I'm still just coughing, like incessantly coughing. And Johnny's like, "You sure you don't have pneumonia or bronchitis?" Because he hears me coughing and it sounds really bad, but I was on a course of antibiotics, so I definitely don't think it's anything that antibiotics are gonna fix at this point. So I think it's just a viral thing that's gonna, run its course. I do have a doctor's appointment with my OB again next week, and if she recommends like going to see the general doctor or whatever, I will at that point. But I think it's just kind of here to stay and linger for a while. The kids at Livy's school are still coughing. Livy is also still coughing, so it's just one of those kind of colds that lasts forever. This week, I really hit a wall with the sleep. I'm just waking up a bunch. I'm even like sitting upright because I'm having the raging heartburn just constantly. I've talked about this the whole pregnancy, but it's gotten increasingly worse because now my stomach area is getting smaller, so I cannot eat the big meals that I've been eating up until about this last week. So that's been an issue. That's increased the heartburn. When I do try to eat too much, I feel extra full and extra miserable and really heartburny, more so than normal. So I've been having to balance that out, just, try to eat the smaller portions again, because I was used to eating pretty much normal meals for me. It's been a little bit of a challenge adjusting this last week. The sleep is getting harder because I am waking up more frequently to go to the bathroom as well, and also for all the breathing things I talked about last week. Like I won't be able to breathe out of my nose, and so I'll be breathing out of my mouth, and I'll drool on myself, and I'll wake up feeling the drool on my face. So that'll wake me up. I'll also have to go pee all the time. The baby, at this point, she's making some crazy big jerking motions, and that will wake me up now at this point. I don't know if I even said this. I might have just said this. The peeing is waking me up. The heartburn's waking me up. I wake up coughing. That's just one of the worst things about one of these cough things, is you just wake up with like a coughing attack. And I've done that a bunch. So the sleep has just been a challenge. I had talked about it last week. It's continued to be a challenge, and it has not really gotten that much better. Once I started taking the Benadryl at night, I do get some like nicer stretches during the night, but overall it's just me waking up, 4 or 5 times a night. I definitely feel ready for a newborn now because I'm waking up so much. So I guess that part of it is good. I'm kind of adjusting to waking up all the time. Man, I'm a mommy zombie is what I'd call it right now. I don't do a whole lot. I play a little bit here and there, and then I rest, and I rest a lot. Even cooking dinner now, I'm just a zombie through cooking dinner sometimes. By the end of the day, I'm just done. I'm ready to go to bed. I don't feel a whole lot different than last week. Somewhat better because I'm not having all the other symptoms. I'm just having the congestion and the coughing right now. As far as the cold is concerned, I'm gonna go ahead and walk down my list that I cover every week. Baby is 33 weeks and is the size of a durian fruit, and those are pretty big, and I definitely feel that. New and lingering symptoms, I had talked about my breasts leaking, and they definitely just leak on and off all the time. I'm wearing the nursing pads full time now, but something I noticed this week is they will like fill up, get rock hard, and then it seems like they deflate, and then they're like little sandbags, and they're just kind of sad boobies. And so I'm going through that stage, gosh, multiple times a day, where they're full and they feel engorged and they're like rock hard, and then they get really deflated. And I don't know what's going on. It's just kind of preparing me for breastfeeding, but I think I've got the milk. I definitely have some leakage and they're working on whatever they need to work on ahead of time. So it's just been really uncomfortable. And the last couple of days when they're full, they're kind of uncomfortable. You know, they're like that rock hard feeling, like when you're engorged almost. But when they deflate, they actually feel really tender, which is surprising to me. Usually when I was breastfeeding, once, you know, you get that relief and you get the letdown, your breasts feel much better than when they feel really full. So right now it's the more fullness feeling that feels much better, and the deflated saddlebag part that feels really sore and uncomfortable. That's just been the last couple days where they've been going through this cycle, and it's like, I don't know what my boobies are doing at any point in time, but they have a mind of their own right now, and I'm just gonna let them do their thing. As far as other symptoms, I told you, like, big giant jerking motions at this point, sometimes painful, like I get a painful kick here and there. In the past I have had some like really up high where I would get a sting every once in a while, or really down low where she's kicking my parts down there and it feels stingy. But even now, sometimes on the sides, just it hurts. Whatever she's stretching out, I'm like, ooh, I feel that really bad that time. And so every once in a while, I'll just kind of like jerk, and Johnny's like, what's wrong? And it's like, oh, she just kicked me really good that time, or, you know, bumped her head really good into me. I don't really know what part she's bothering me with, but she definitely is getting stronger, and she definitely has a big presence now. I feel like I'm never alone because I always just feel her moving around, and she's very active, like Livy was very active. And it's like I always have a little buddy with me all the time because I'm constantly like feeling her move around. But the one thing with that, I'm feeling so much tightness now, like my skin is super tight and I'm getting really, really itchy because the skin is tightening. At this point, I definitely feel like we're running out of room. I'm getting to where I'm having to pee more, and I'm getting to where I can't eat as much, and the skin's all tight, and she's definitely running out of room. So I'm getting to those end uncomfortable weeks. I'm about 6 weeks out from my scheduled C-section at this point. It's crazy to think I'm getting down to the last weeks of this pregnancy, and it's not really super sunk in yet. Like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have a newborn in less than 2 months. I really haven't processed that part of it yet. I've just been so much like, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm carrying the baby, and I've been in that mode. So we really have to get a move on getting everything ready. I'll talk about that more on the agenda part and the questions part, because I did have questions on that. So as far as cravings, I've got a couple of weird ones this week, but one that was kind of a follow-up from last week. I had mentioned I have been just loving this wood fire brick oven pizza. It's just like really authentic Neapolitan style, rustic kind of pizza. And just all of a sudden, the last week or so, I have just been absolutely craving pizza from Champagne. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Chicago style pizza, but it's this really doughy, thick, deep dish pizza where it's like a pie, like a pie in pizza form, and it is so, so good. And so I asked in our neighborhood group, it's like, does anybody know where there's a really good, you know, sort of authentic Chicago style pizza place around here? Because the food scene in Austin is awesome. There's always just new restaurants to try, new restaurants coming in and out. And there are a couple of places that say they're Chicago style, and I wanted to hear from like actual people here what they recommend. And they recommended one that happened to be like way across town, but it was actually where we were gonna be for one of our appointments, and we went there for lunch, and it was amazing. And I had some leftovers the last couple of days, and it was just so good. It fed that craving. It wasn't exactly like I remember because it's obviously a different restaurant, but it was so good. It's just this pie style pizza, and it met that craving, and now I think I'm over it. I had 2 slices of it for breakfast this morning. It was the last 2 pieces, but it is just the bomb. It's so good, and I'm so glad that we went, even though it was way across town. It just happened to be, we were sort of close to it, so we made it work, and I'm just so glad we went. So I was really pleased I got that craving out of the way, and I haven't been like obsessing about it. I've still been making those peanut butter milkshake drinks that I talked about last week. I ran out of chocolate syrup and haven't replaced it, so I've been using hot cocoa powder for the sweetness. I use just like a spoonful of it with a couple of spoonfuls of powdered peanut butter and then a spoonful of dark chocolate cocoa powder. Mix it up in a blender cup with ice and almond milk, and it is just so good. I don't know what it is. It's got this like really dark semi-sweet chocolatey taste with a hint of peanut butter, and it's really, really good. So I've been having that pretty much every day, sometimes twice, and it's just been hitting some sort of craving thing that I have, and I really like it. It's full of protein with the powdered peanut butter. I think it's a pretty good choice as far as snacks and foods and things. The other thing I've been craving, and it's not been like, oh, I'm obsessed with this, I have to have this. It's just something that I've been wanting on and off, and it's salmon. So we ended up having it twice this week. We had it again last night, and it's just so good. So I'll buy it again for next week. I just ended up with a really big pack of fillets this last week, so it was enough for 2 meals. Usually it's just 1 meal and maybe like a leftover lunch for Johnny or Olivia, and it was just really good. So I've still been really liking the salmon. And then one thing we got from Trader Joe's this last weekend, I just got 2 of these little yogurts to try. They are Icelandic yogurt, and one was a vanilla, and it was more like a vanilla bean, and then the other one was a cherry. And these yogurts are like fully blended. It doesn't have chunks in the cherry yogurt, but it's like a really thick, almost like Greek yogurt consistency. But I find Greek yogurt's texture really off-putting. It's like really drying in my mouth. I feel like I'm eating sand. So I don't like Greek yogurt, but the Icelandic yogurt is more like, I don't know, like a custardy style yogurt, and these ones are very low sugar. It was like 5 grams of added sugar in the whole little, you know, single serving size thing. Usually it can be like up to 25 grams of sugar in some of those little tubs of yogurt, so it was hardly even sweet. It had like a tangy taste to it because it's, you know, the thicker Icelandic yogurt, and it was just so good. Olivia tried one of them with me, and then I finished the other one the same night, and I want more. So we're gonna totally stock up on that the next time we go to Trader Joe's. I've been thinking about it ever since. It's just so, so good. So I recommend trying their Icelandic yogurt or another brand. I looked at H-E-B, which is our Texas chain grocery store. I looked there, and they have a couple of different brands of the Icelandic yogurt. So I'm going to try theirs out as well and see if I like those as good, because it was just so good. It's super duper high protein, very low sugar, and a little fat in there too, which is good, but they were so, so good. Just tasted like dessert to me. Those are about the only sweet things I've been craving now, the peanut butter smoothie and the Icelandic yogurt, and they're not super duper sweet things. I've been really wanting more of the savory stuff. And so moving on to aversions, I did have a moment with the broccoli again, and this was actually fresh broccoli. Opening up the pack of broccoli, I got a whiff of the broccoli, ended up roasting it and not wanting it at all. So Johnny and Olivia had their broccoli, and I did not touch it at all. I just cooked it for them, and it was stinky and really, really off-putting. Something about broccoli, I have liked broccoli in certain circumstances, but sometimes, man, just getting a whiff of it totally turns me off. It churns my stomach. So it got me again this week. And then as far as weight, I am at 196, which is 1 pound up from last week, and then 29 pounds overall. So I'm almost at that 30-pound mark. And that 196 is the highest weight I saw with Olivia's pregnancy. I got to 196 with her pregnancy, and then I ended up giving birth. So I'm going to hit the 200 mark for sure. Moving on, I don't have any new discoveries. This week was just kind of a blur with the, you know, not sleeping thing. And compared to Olivia's pregnancy, it's funny because I was craving some sort of vanilla yogurt in Olivia's pregnancy, and this time I'm craving the Icelandic yogurt the exact same week. And I don't watch these videos until after the week has already been done. Like, I will write my notes and then I will watch the week 33 video. So seeing that I wrote Icelandic yogurt and then craved yogurt in the other video, it's just so silly. Like, sometimes it lines up like that, but then again, like, some things don't. Like, I think this is like the 3rd week in a row that I craved bananas when I was pregnant with Olivia, and still bananas are just totally a turnoff for me right now, the smell of them. And then the best thing this week was getting the pizza. That's even better than picking out all the house stuff. I just wanted that pizza so bad. I just got it in my head one day. I was like, I need Chicago style pizza. And I'm so glad we got to go a couple of days later, and it was so, so good. And then the worst thing is just the mucus. Like, I think I would be okay if I was just having a little bit of dry coughs here and there, but it's these mucusy coughs where you're trying to hack up stuff and it feels like you've got mucus all down your throat and in your nose and you can't get rid of it. It doesn't matter how many times I blow my nose, I still feel like there's tons of mucus in there, and it's just part of being sick and being pregnant. Trying to rest as much as possible as well. It's been really good that Olivia is now doing a little bit longer days, so I do have some time to just seriously just lay on the couch. Pretty much that's what I do most of the time she's gone. I'll get up here and there for things, do a little bit of cleaning and a little bit of house maintenance, but for the most part I'm like just a zombie on the couch. I've been reading a lot of my Game of Thrones. I'm near the end of book 4 now, so I'm really getting into that. And then for questions, somebody asked me, is the nursery done? She was 30 weeks and no, nothing's done. I showed you guys a little sneak peek in there one day. I filmed in there. And basically her clothes are hung up and kind of organized in bins. We did end up building her 4-cube shelf that's like the IKEA shelves. It's just a 2x2 instead of these ones are 4 across by 2 down. So she does have her shelf in there. We've got a couple more boxes we need to kind of sort through and organize. Her crib's not built yet. The car seat's not even in the car right now. I really need to get that installed just in case. I don't have a hospital bag packed. I don't even know what bag I'm packing at this point. The diaper bag is supposed to arrive this month. It was on a pre-order thing because I picked out a new color. So it's supposed to be delivered sometime this month. So I don't even have like a diaper bag to pack at this point. I'll just end up packing a random bag if I need to. No, nothing's done. Don't feel bad that you have nothing done because I don't have anything done. And I'm just gonna get it done when I can, or get it done, worst comes to worst. I'm gonna be shouting orders at Johnny like, pack this, as we rush into the hospital. So this being sick for the last 3 weeks really put a wrench in the plan. I was having more energy before I got sick, and now I just don't have energy to do anything extra. Like I cook dinner, I pack the lunch, I get little kiddo to school, and do the very minimal anything else, just breathing and existing at this point. So yeah, don't feel bad. I'm totally in the same boat as you, not doing anything hardly. But like my stomach feels so big and tight now, it's even hard for me to bend over. Like I thought it was hard before, and I can barely like put on my own shoes at this point. It's just getting bad. So I know it's just gonna keep getting a little bit worse. If I ever get over this coughing thing, I'll definitely start working on the other stuff again. Oh, I had one other question. I hadn't written it down because I just saw it when I was answering comments. Somebody asked me if we're doing maternity photos. I already talked about that a little bit. I don't think we're doing them, just kind of DIYing them ourselves. And they also asked me if I was gonna do a belly cast. And I always thought that was kind of a neat thing to do, but then you have a belly cast, and I'm just not the kind of person that's gonna like display a belly cast. So I didn't do it with Olivia. I won't be doing it this time. I just think it's a beautiful thing to do and have done, and then what do you do with it? So I wouldn't say we're minimalist at all. Hello, like Toy City right here. We're definitely not minimalists at all, but I don't do a whole lot of decorating, and I don't keep a lot of extra stuff aside from kid toys, I guess. So no belly cast here. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys my belly though. And yeah, this room is still a wreck. She's been playing these puzzles a lot. There's puzzles all over the floor, and she had tons of books out. I made her pick them up the other day. But there is the 33-week belly. It's really closer to 34-week at this point, but it just is like really tight. Like I used to be able to like pinch skin, but you guys can see like I cannot pinch anything on this belly. It's just super tight, super firm, and like I will feel, I think what's her head, it's a large bulge and then like a longer bulge. So I assume it's her spine and her head. And I'll feel them poking out, and I'll be able to see this like round bulge, which I assume is the head. So she still seems to be head up from what I can tell. There it is, 33 weeks. But that is it for this video. I will leave that house details video linked down below for you guys. I also plan on doing a budget video for August. I haven't filmed that yet, so hopefully that'll be up for you guys next week. And we're definitely tightening the budget and changing the budget around in preparation for the new house coming up. I'll also leave my playlist for pregnancy number 1, which was when I was pregnant with Olivia, and also pregnancy number 2, this pregnancy. I'll leave those playlists down below if you want more pregnancy updates and videos. And I think that covers everything. So be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.